In today's podcast with me, Matt Houlihan, I'm going to be looking at the global village and the concept of the entire population of the Earth, the human population of the Earth, divided into 100 people in a village. So each person represents, I think, about 70 or 80 million people. That's about right. Or 700 or 800 million, something like that. So it's based on a percentage basis. And what that can tell us about the global population in a much more easy to digest way than saying X billion or X million people are such and such. So it really highlights I suppose, what makes us human, really, and what inequalities we're facing as a race, what differences and similarities we face. It really puts the profile of humanity into stark contrast. So I've had a chat with a friend of mine, Oyinka Yusuff, actress. Find her on Twitter and YouTube. We had a chat about the global village and the idea of, I was trying to sell to her the idea of a representation of that in a children's story or in some kind of written, televised format. Here's what we said.
So what happens in the village?
So the whole idea of the global village is, it's an example, like they can change it depending on whatever period in history now. So
Right.
for 2018, for instance, they could have the global village of 100 people, which represents the population of the Earth.
Yeah, so like 60% Africans, yeah.
Not 60% Africans.
Well, what have you got your back up about?
No!
The world, have you seen how big Africa is? Do you know,
It's
on
huge.
the Atlas world map,
Yeah.
they've made Africa smaller
Yeah.
than it actually is. Do you know why? Why do you think? You
Please.
tell me why from your perspective.
Eurocentrism.
This is it.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the village example. 60% Africans, carry on. Right.
Well, the good thing about the global village is it's accurate because it's just based on percentages.
Right.
So, for instance, of the global village of 100 people, about 50 or 60 odd would be Asian, Chinese. I think the last one I read, one person had the internet.
Wow. And what happens in this village?
Well, no, it's just an example. It's not a dramatisation. But I'm thinking I could do it. I'd be interested to write a dramatisation
That'd be
or some
wicked.
children's story, sort of,
That'd be
of
wicked.
what the global village is. So these are so basically it's just percentage statistics
Okay.
of area of the population of the Earth. So, for instance, I think the ideas about inequality of wealth.
Right.
You know, they talk about the 1%. Literally, one person has like the wealth of most of the village.
Of a couple of hundred people. Right, I get it. Okay.
And most of the village lives in extreme poverty, for instance. You know, stuff like that. I think it's a really interesting
I think it highlights
concept.
Yes, and it highlights what's going on in the real world
Yeah,
in an exaggerated way, but it does highlight.
yeah. I think it's really interesting because you don't look at it that way otherwise. You just think, oh, X number. Oh, okay. And that's the global village. So you get the idea. I would love to develop something which talks about the state of the world as an artistic creation. I think it's such an interesting idea, the idea of writing a story of humanity set within a village of 100 people and how each of those people are similar and different and who holds the power and who is marginalized. I seem to remember reading that one person in the village is literally starving. So that's a good 700 or 800 million people who are literally starving. It's really fascinating. I do think, from what I remember, the internet use of the world is wider now. So it's not one person. It's something like 14 or something numbers of people. But it's a really interesting concept. I'd love to hear your thoughts I'd love to hear your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, whether you think it's a good idea, and what format you think it would be well told in. Would it be a dramatization, or would it simply be a demonstration or a documentary type written piece, visualized piece? Would it be a cartoon? Would it be actors? Would it be a radio piece? Visually, it's quite interesting, I think. So let me know.